All right, everybody. Well, thank you so much for joining Deb Exner and myself, Donna Newman, so that we could give you the rundown on exactly why you want to participate in the very first Speakers Academy. The purpose of our call tonight is for Deb and I to answer any questions you have around your participation. So before we open up the lines for you so that you can start asking questions, let me just kind of lay out a few new details because we've had some really good developments since last Friday's board meeting. First, it's location. I just wanted to confirm that late last week, we confirmed the Arizona Small Business Association is going to be hosting our Speaker Academy meetings at their Business Education Center. And that's conveniently located at 44th Street in Washington in Phoenix. So it's right off of the freeway. Then second is all about recordings. I've had a few participants have mentioned to me that they're going to be traveling during one of the meetings and they didn't want to miss out. So never fear, because we have our fabulous Greg who's going to be manning the audio recordings for the entire 5 hours for you. And a few days after each event, he and I are going to load them live on the NSA-Arizona website behind a password protection. And then we're going to mail all the handouts for that class to you. Plus, I'm going to ring you up and check in with you the very next week. So while we will really miss you, you will only miss being there in person. Everything else will come straight to you. And third is all about classes. Now, as you see the flyer here on the screen, there are 10 classes. And the final two, or number 9 and number 10, number 9 being managing your business, and number 10 is putting it all together. They are both going to be taught on the same day, and that is June 21st. We did that strategically because we were finding that putting it all together had a fewer hours in it, and pairing them up just seemed to make a lot of sense. And then fourth, we're looking at some really convenient discounts for everybody who's participating. If you are an NSA candidate or you're an NSA member, you automatically receive a $200 discount. Super cool. Plus, if you register for the program by October 1st, you receive another $100 or 10% discount. So thereby making your investment only $700. And that deadline is October 1st, midnight. So you've got the whole day to be able to check out that website. And then the fifth is the registration. We've just added all of our links and they are live. When you access the NSA Arizona website, you're going to go to www.nsa-arizona.com. And the Speaker Academy is listed on the left side of the home page. Right now, I believe it's the third item. And you click on it. That'll take you to the full page where there's lots of details and all of the buttons for you to be able to register. It's a safe transaction site, and you'll receive a receipt for your payment. If anything goes awry, you can give Gwen at the national head or at our local headquarters a call, or you can actually call myself. We're quick to answer and we'll help you out. But so far, nobody's had any problems. And then sixth, we've just put together the format. So each class is going to start at 9 a.m. and then it's going to continue 5 hours, ending at 2 p.m. We've got each class divided into 4 formats. So first is a panel, then second is speaker presentations, then a talkback panel where you will ask all the questions, and finally there's an experiential lab or a speaker lab following that. So let me explain each of the formats. During the panel, we're going to bring up the highly prized faculty. Sometimes, as you can see on this flyer, it'll be 2. Other times it's 3 and up to 4 people that we're going to have on that lab, on that stage. And we're going to be asking them questions, literally asking them to pull back the curtains on their success. How do they do business? What kind of techniques get the best results? And really dissect how they approach a presentation from the very beginning of platform mechanics to that of topic development to that of post-presentation. How do you wrap it up? How do you follow up with everybody? And the good thing about that is that they are so willing to be able to dissect everything, because that sets the stage for that second area of our format. And that is when each speaker is going to present the curriculum to you doing it so that you then see the art of their presentation. So the first part on the panel was the science behind it, and then you get to see the presentation, that art. And then that way, you're not just learning how to do better speaking and presenting, but you're seeing how to do it well by the best. And then that third segment of our morning is going to be a talk back. We're going to resume our panel and come back to the stage and then really open up the floor with Q&A. Only this time, you are asking all the questions. You could maybe connect the dots between their science and their art. You might want to ask a question that's very personal to you and how you do things. But this will be a great time for you to get those answers readily available to you about that are topic related or that maybe would be specific to how you could do something a little differently. And then finally, one of our favorites, Deb and my favorites, is the experiential learning. And that is scheduled for the final hour. That's our prized speaker lab. And if you've ever come to the second or the fourth Tuesday at 9:15 in the morning, you know that this is volume packed with the privilege for you to assume the platform and present whatever you want so that you then get immediate feedback. So this is a real world fast track training, but it's in a very relaxed, supportive environment where two participants, each class, are going to present their topics to the faculty speakers and peers. You're going to assume the stage as though you are assuming your presentation live right there. Whether you're working on new material, maybe you're finessing a favorite story or fine-tuning an introduction for a new client, these two of the class members are going to present that day, and then they're going to get instant focused feedback from each of the guest faculty speakers. And I know Deb would agree with me that that has been a place for both her and I to really mature and develop and strengthen our platform as really hone in on making a more powerful impact within the first 3 minutes, as Don Thorne would always say, maybe crafting our story along the line of that PSA, which Glenna Salisbury is so famous for, and being very clear on our point, our story, our application, so that nobody forgets us on the platform, but how to apply our points. So anyway, that is just a teaser for the whole format. And then our seventh is really the purpose. And the purpose of Speakers Lab is to really guide you through the process of putting together your stuff for a speaking business. That's topic development, sales and marketing, authorship, product development, as well as platform mechanics, presenting and performing, and managing your business. So it's not managing you. So it's really worth the exploration for you if you're starting a speaking business or if you are a professional speaker, but you're wanting to fine-tune some skills, or you're needing to represent your company more effectively in the community and generate prospective clients effortlessly. All of those needs will be met through these 9 months. And then the final detail that I kind of wanted to bring you up to speed on is pretty special because all of that curriculum is fabulous and the experience of that morning is untouchably great. But of course, there's some downtime in between those months, and you need to take the opportunity to put it into action. Sometimes that's a little difficult unless you have someone who's coaching you or encouraging you. So this is where we have mentors and mastermind groups. So at the second session, we're going to pair you up with a mentor from one of our NSA members for one-on-one success. And the mentor's commitment is to meet with you 3 to 5 hours over the course of the 9 months and really support your growth, very strategically, very personally. Then we'll group you with 3 other participants in a mastermind group for peer camaraderie and accountability. And the good thing about that is that you guys are going to be iron sharpening iron. You could be very different, which will benefit you because you'll see your presentation from either your target audience or a different audience that you didn't even realize might be a niche for you. Or you might have someone in your group who's actually someone that might want to hire you. And when they see you putting into practice, they could very well be the ones that would be interested in hiring you for your particular skills. So those are kind of the new developments. And now Deb's going to kind of bring us up to speed. We've got some questions that are filling up the chat box. So feel free to either just shout out your question. If you want to put it in the chat box, then Deb and I are just going to team tag here, and we're going to talk about any answers that you're wanting to help you tip over to participating in our first annual Speakers Academy. So Deb?
Well, actually, I'd love to open it up and get questions from anybody that's on the line. I have one question to start us off with. Somebody asked me earlier today, which was, if I have nothing put together yet as for my speaking business, is this appropriate for me? And so I was letting her know that I think it's very appropriate, because the whole purpose of the Speakers Academy and the curriculum that's been developed for it is to guide you through that process of putting together your stuff. I use that same technical term that Donna used, stuff for a speaking business. And she's already gone over it very thoroughly, so I think you've got that idea. But if you're starting out, if you've been thinking about it for a while but haven't really done the work yet, it's a perfect place. If you're somewhere along the way, it's a good place too. And as many of you know, I announced that I signed up for Speakers Academy as well, because I know I will learn things from all of these fantastic speakers that are going to be part of our curriculum. So I'll be delivering a little piece of it, but I'm really going to be there to learn from everybody that's involved. And I hope you will be too. I can't see the chat window, Donna, so do you have some other questions that came in?
Yes, somebody was asking about the benefit of, certainly if they come in before October 1, they get the 10% discount. And there's a question here relative to the benefit of being a speaker candidate member, which is $200. And when you become a member, then that $200 applies to a credit for Speaker Academy. So your entire enrollment in Speaker Academy then can actually be $200. But Deb, if you wanted to start kind of explaining some of the benefits of being a candidate, and then I can follow up.
Sure, and I think that's an important key. If you know someone who is not yet a candidate, or if you are not yet a candidate, it really makes sense to join as a candidate, because then you get that $200 off, and if you register by October 1st, you get the extra $100 of the early bird discount off, so that your price for Speakers Academy is just $700, and your membership really as a candidate is free. And the candidates have a lot of advantages. For one, they're, in addition to whatever you're doing in Speakers Academy with a lab, you have free. The lab that we have every second and fourth Tuesday mornings is a benefit to you as part of your membership. So you can come and get additional practice there, or practice for your practice if you want to. Test something out at our regular Speakers Lab and then bring it to Speakers Academy. So that's an option for you. Many of you know that we have a lending library that has recordings from many past conferences. And this year, for the first time, we managed to purchase the lending library in MP3 format, so that you won't even have to remember to pick up your CD when you're at the meeting. I always used to forget about that. And then I'd leave and I'd say, oh, I meant to get one. But you'll be able to go to a website and download sessions from this 2013 conference, the convention, and be able to listen to those, as well as continuing to check out the CDs from past conventions. What else, Donna? What am I forgetting?
There's a really great magazine, too, that is for only candidates. It's not for members. And it really dissects exactly how to start a business, why to start a business, how to promote yourself, how to define your target audience, how to determine what are the 2-3 things that are your most valuable offerings, and how to strategically hone those so that you can have a clear direction for your audience in how to hire you. And that's a magazine that everybody gets when they first join. And I'll be honest with you, that's something that I even go back to now. But when I go back to it, it's dog-eared, it's margin note, it's highlighted, it's circled. It's pretty well used. And I've really taken the opportunity to implement those great lessons, because it's the Callaways, it's the Roadies, it's brilliant minds who have taken the time to reflect on their own career, to then give you that sage insight on what worked best for them, what doesn't work for them anymore, how the trends have changed, what's most effective in the marketplace. Because sometimes as a solopreneur, We assume we can do it all, and we find out that we can't, and we hold ourselves a little bit hostage to trying to do it all. So when you've got the benefit of taking advantage of that magazine alone, it's a huge resource to be able to answer all those questions that are kind of nagging at you.
Yeah, that is a neat magazine. It was published by NSA National, and it's sort of an evergreen magazine because the articles that are in it are valid indefinitely. And so it's a very helpful magazine. If you don't have a copy, if you're a candidate now and you don't have a copy, you can ask. We can get you one. You also get a listing on our website as a candidate. So just like the professional members have, you get a listing on the candidate directory. And that allows you to put your picture and your topics and a little bit about yourself, a bio, and it's really worthwhile to take advantage of that, to make sure that you've got that filled out so that when people go there, they see who you are and what you're about. And if you're not sure exactly how your speaking business is going to unfold, you can still go ahead and put in some good information about yourself and your expertise.
And someone was asking the value of the listing on the website. So I'll speak personally. I was a candidate for 2 years, and during that time, even though I was still founding and operating Summa Social, I really didn't put speaking on Summa Social because it was a brand new offering, and again, I was new to the whole concept of speaking for money versus speaking to just bring in more opportunities for Summa and more clients. And so I took the advantage of putting my content up there, my image, links, and sure enough, within 2 years, I had 2 nicely paid presentations. So that gave me an opportunity to feel affirmed that this was a direction that I really wanted to pursue as an additional offering. But it also enabled me to have a very clear focus that I speak, and here are the values that I give you when I speak, but then here are the topics that I speak on. And if you need any ideas on how other people have filled it out, you can go to the very first page, search for a speaker, and anybody's topic or profile that's brought up will enable you to see kind of how they've laid it out. And that will give you an opportunity, because within there, each of your pages have their own unique link. So you can take that unique link and embed it within your email signature, which is what I did. And that enables you, when people are receiving your emails, to click on it, go to your speaker profile, and see your whole offering and your benefits package. Another thing, Deb, you may want to talk about, because I just haven't participated in these very much since I have the 4 kids, but is living room forums.
Yeah. We had a terrific living room forum last night, and I know Liz is on the line. She's familiar with them because I see her there frequently. Living room forums are an intimate gathering in someone's living room. So it's usually 12 to 20 people. It's a great place to get to know each other on a more personal level and less intimidating perhaps than when you're brand new and you're going to the chapter meeting with so many people. And it is a facilitated conversation, so someone will have a topic, they will share their expertise on that topic, and then also open it up for discussion. So it's a great way to learn from the presenter and also people in the group that have attended. Last night's living room forum was on using Prezi for your presentations as an alternative to PowerPoint, and Beth Terry did a fabulous job, so it's a terrific presentation.
And then going back to the library and the audios, that's something that, since it's now on MP3, we're going to go ahead and, as you can see on the screen, we've got those 10 modules. So we're going to identify speeches and presentations that have been made at the last 2 and 3 national conventions that would be a nice analogous with each of those. So we're going to put in maybe 2 or 3, and then that way, as kind of support for all the presenters, you might hear Ed Scannell at one of his presentations that would further develop the topic that he's speaking about, and it would enable you to, during that off season, to kind of stay plugged in. So I'm really pleased about the MP3. That's going to be a huge asset.
Yeah, I think it'll make it a lot easier for people to check things out. Of course, as a candidate member, you get to come to the chapter meetings and the living room forums at the member price rather than the non-member price.
So is there anybody out there that wants to kind of throw in some questions by just asking? We've got a few more chat. Okay, there's one in chat that is asking me, how do they sign up for the candidate? Well, the candidate price enables you, the $200 will be credited towards the Speaker Academy. So where you would sign up is going to the Speaker Academy on the homepage, left side of the www.nsa-Arizona website. And there you're going to click on that. It will take you to a more elaborate subpage where you can click on the payment button. And then from there, you can sign up to be a candidate, as well as before October 1st at midnight, you can get the 10%. So you can do all of those transactions within that one screen. Is that confirmed? I think that was the experience of the one who came in last night. Is that right, Deb?
Actually, I think you have to go and sign up as a candidate first,
Separate?
and then go in and choose that candidate price for Speaker Academy.
Okay.
So on the join page, you can go in, and at the bottom of the join page, there's a place for you to fill out your information, and there's a link to a payment page. So then you go to the payment page, and you can put in your credit card information there.
Okay. And there was one person asking, at the end of the program, will I have an executable business plan? What do you think about that?
Well, I think we've got Les Taylor in that running your business, managing your business. And if there's one thing I know about Les Taylor is he gets everyone to figure out their one-page, very usable, succinct business plan. So I would say yes.
Yes, you're right. He is known for that. And actually, he speaks about that often. And that's even one of his products on his website. So Liz, you're going to be right up the alley of being able to do that very succinctly. And the good thing is that he really does keep it to a one page. Then there was one other question. The password protected site, that's going to be put up, and we will email it out to everybody who is a participant, so that as the class has finished, within 5 to 7 days, you will have the link, so that you're not just getting the link because maybe you've missed it, but you're going to get an email with the link so that you can refresh your mind, you can listen to it, stop it, write notes, take notes, practice, and that'll be an asset for you the entire time that you're in the academy. And I believe we're just going to keep it up. So anytime that you wanted to come back to that link, whether it was 3-4 months into the future, you would be able to access the entire 5 hours. And there will be separate links within those 5 hours for each of those modules. So we will let you know exactly what those links are and what those password protected access would be.
Great. And if you happen to know anyone who belongs to an affiliated organization to NSA, like the International Coach Federation or ASTD, which is American Society of Trainers and Developers, or maybe a friend that's in a Toastmasters group with you, we have an affiliate price for them too. So they don't get the same $200 discount that a member or candidate gets, but they can get a $100 discount. And if they do it by October 1st, they can take advantage of the early bird discounts. So spread the word, because the more people we have, well, it'll be a nice intimate group, but having more people with varied backgrounds will really help and make it a more interesting class and lots of learning for everyone.
Okay, so here's a question about the varied backgrounds. Someone just typed it in as you were finishing those words. They wanted to know what's the caliber of people who are going to be coming and participating. Will they be speakers, new speakers? Will they be business executives wanting to hone some skills so that they could present during board meetings, so that they could actually present during sales pitches? You want to take that, Deb?
Well, I think we're opening this up to people from all of those backgrounds, really. So the candidates, the speakers that are honing their skills and developing their businesses, it's also available to professional members who either want to just pick a module because they would like to spruce up their skills in that particular arena, or want to take the entire session. and also to business leaders. And one of the reasons we think it's important to open it up to some business leaders is that we'll learn from them. What is it that they're looking for when they're looking for speakers? How do speakers fit into their lives in the corporate world? So we can learn from them along those lines, and they will learn from us.
So, like we had mentioned, that truly by the end of the time, you can have an executable one-page business plan, courtesy of Les Taylor and Marty Green. But when you join, you're going to polish your presentation skills, and kind of the three things that we were looking at when we're looking at choosing who was our faculty, three core values for us so that everybody participating would achieve these as an outcome is one, we wanted you to be able to represent your company or your brand more effectively in the community and really generate prospective clients effortlessly because you clearly understand your value proposition, you astutely understand what your target market is, and you confidently execute your commanding communication skills. And then second is being able to present your ideas and solutions to prospective clients in a way that really distinguishes you from your competition. You want to rise above that noise because the marketplace is really just a bunch of noise. But if you rise above it, that's where you're going to stand out. So those strong ideas and solutions that this faculty is going to give you will enable you to be unique. And then finally, that third core value that was important in choosing the faculty was that you as a participant would be able to present your perspective during an in-house meeting, really in a way that would garner more respect, maybe more trust, and more importantly, productive solutions. So, and then of course, our value here is to really make sure that from start to finish, you understand the soup to nuts of how to build a business, how to sustain it from both the art and the science. And you've got plenty of people here on our faculty who have been doing this some 15, and there's a lot that are closing in on their 40th anniversary of speaking. So they've been extremely successful and like we've heard from these speakers is that what they've done before doesn't always work in today's marketplace. So they're going to give you the benefit of being current and timely, even though they've had 40 years, they understand what it means to adapt to a marketplace and be really responsive.
And I think that's why it's really great to have so many different people as well. So there are different types of topics, different types of marketplaces that they work in, so you'll get a broad spectrum of the types of speakers that are out there. One of the things that excites me a lot about this has been in the works for a long time. So NSA National got a large committee together to develop this curriculum by taking the best things that were being offered at various chapters. So a lot of chapters have been creating their own programs, as have we. But this is a more comprehensive program that's going really starting at the beginning and hitting all the different areas that go into making a successful speaking business. So I'm excited about it. It reminds me of the Wealthy Speaker, which was a nice program that we put on here quite a few years ago, which is the thing that launched me as a professional speaker and several other people. And I think this is even more comprehensive. It's got a lot more to it. So I think it will be particularly helpful and useful in that way.
And then just to affirm that we're going to be starting our first on Saturday, October 19th, and it'll be from 9 to 2. And then we're going to run every third Saturday with the exception of April. And April's going to be that fourth Saturday. That's because the third Saturday and Sunday, that's Easter weekend. So everything else is consistent, being the third Saturday of the month, starting October and running all the way through June. And you're going to get mentors. You will get your workbooks. You will be part of a mastermind peer group. You will have the MP3 so that you have the opportunity for that recap and follow up. And that way you don't have to take finger-numbing, copious notes, although you might want to, but you can relax a little bit. You're going to get a workbook. So every single module has maybe 20, 30, maybe 20 pages. And then each time that you're with us is when we're going to be handing out that module. And again, if you're not with us, we're going to be sending that to you and following up with a call and checking in. This will enable you to have the tactile experience. You're going to kind of pull back the curtain, see the science behind it, dissect what makes a great presentation. You're going to have the art, seeing the experts in action. You're going to have the experiential speaker academy, which enables you to put to practice exactly what you've learned, specific to what you're doing, whether that's a presentation, a webinar, a sales meeting. Maybe you're an author and it's an author signing. So whenever you're making that presentation, the content that you gain will enable you to masterfully present yourself. And all of that then is an opportunity for you from start to finish, like we had mentioned, to come out with an executable plan and a target that enables you to work with some really great experts, all of whom are Arizona members. We're proud to have them in our own chapter, but these experts speaking have national notoriety, and there's about 5 of them that have international notoriety. So we're really blessed to have this kind of caliber of team with us.
And if you have any other questions, or if other questions occur to you after this call, you can feel free to email Donna or myself, or to give us a call, and we'd be happy to answer any questions that may occur to you afterwards.
So just as we're wrapping up, I just kind of wanted to talk a little bit about the little victories within our professional growth, really assure us that the stretch goals are worth it. And the little victories, as you have them as you're going from module to module, and maybe that's going to be in the lab, are going to show you that these 10 months are worth it. So I'm going to give you an example of what happened to my son last week. It was just last Wednesday that my 12-year-old son had his first ever flag football game. And he scored not only the starting touchdown, but he had 14 total points, which was literally half of his team's points for a win over the small town rival. And then in his first club basketball game that following Sunday, he scored once again 14 points, which brought the team to a 1-point victory over their opponents. And so you can imagine this guy's feeling pretty good as we were driving home from that basketball game. And he said to me, "Mom, guess my wanting to feel normal isn't worth it after all." And that kind of came out of left field for me. And I said, "So what do you mean by that, Charlie?" And he says, "Well, my body's always feeling sore. I just never feel normal, or I don't ever not feel sore. But now I know it's worth it." So he had his 14 football points. He has 14 basketball points. And now, well, Charlie's goals, for football and basketball, they have him running miles and stretching muscles he never knew he had. He now has enough evidence in those points this past week that it's all worth it. So the same is true for you, that for what you're going to come to experience in the upcoming Speakers Academy. We're going to stretch you some muscles. We're going to kind of put you on the edge a little bit, but it's all going to be under the auspices of just a solid, comfortable environment and some great faculty. We're going to love on you. We're going to make sure that we're going to take the spooks out. We're going to be able to evaluate where you're headed, how you're going to get there. And the benefit of actually going in this sequence is that it really is intuitive. It's helping you identify in the very first presentation with Dawn and Pamela Jett exactly what's my strengths as a business owner, what audience do I target, and what are the offerings that I have available within that for presentations. So we're going to just make that sequence so that by the end, you really understand all of that. You've got a target, you've got action, and you're putting it to practice throughout the Speaker Academy. So we promise to keep the enrollment low enough so that everyone can get hands-on attention. And that's just what we've done. So in our early bird deadline, which is midnight at 1 o'clock, we'll save you $100. But we'd like to fill up all the open slots so as many as people as want to can participate and really receive that value. So we're putting up the early bird opportunity, and yet if there's any time that you find throughout this academy that you want to jump in and you didn't hear about it, or you're excited to participate and you wanted to share it with someone else who didn't have the opportunity to start at square one, that's no problem, because we're going to have an opportunity for you to be able to access all of the materials as though you had been there, and we'll be able to bring you up to speed and link you in with a mentor and pair you up with some think tank mastermind peers.
So you want to take advantage of that early bird discount midnight on October 1st, by midnight on October 1st.
Because as Charlie says, normal is not the new normal. It's being sore. It's being stretched and knowing that when you're stretched, you're going to come home with some great points. So we really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a wonderful evening. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to email myself or Deb or Gwen, and we'll be there for you. Thanks so much.